Enlightenment. Happy Memorial Day. Happy Monday to everyone. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Well, it looks like the U.S. is not going to default, which is good. Biden and McCarthy reached a deal, so now they will draft it up and send it to Congress and get it approved. Basically, it's going to be approved because both men are representing basically their party and they have enough votes. So unless something very unexpectedly happens, this should be a done deal, which is why on Friday, the U.S. market rallied. So I'm expecting this week to follow because this is a big thing. No one wants to see the U.S. default. Bottom line is, if this gets resolved, the U.S. will be able to print more money. And a lot of people say that it's a market opportunity, right? Whenever the U.S. market, whenever it sees, events like this, it's a reason to be buying, right? The debt ceiling will be, according to this, the next debt ceiling, the current debt ceiling can go on forever, assuming that we don't, hit it again. But the next time will be like 2025 when the discussion comes up, because I think everyone thinks that we will hit it again in the near future. So basically, like every 2 years now, we're going to have this debt ceiling crisis because we spend so much as a nation and we never seem to cut. And we just keep printing more money, which of course adds to more inflation. And the cycle goes on and on and on and on. But however, there are a lot of people think that this is an opportunity to be buying after this resolves itself, right? And possibly later this year, we see the Fed start reversing or pivoting, assuming they're still not very aggressive. I mean, in June, now it's expected that Powell is going to raise rates by another 25 basis points, right? When, in fact, we were supposed to be not going up anymore, waiting for the pivot later this year. Now, if it keeps on increasing because of inflation, because we're printing more money, well, then I don't know when we're going to pivot. Maybe sometime next year then. But anyways, a lot of people think that this is a buying opportunity. The Japanese market is at a 33-year high. So the U.S., even though I talk about U.S. market a lot, I know a lot of you guys are not from the U.S., but the world economy, world markets is looking at the U.S. and looking at what Wall Street is doing and what's happening. So obviously there's a big trickle effect there. But Asian stock rise, European stock probably on the rise. No, kind of mixed. I'm wrong. Well, kind of mixed. Some UK's up, all the other ones about mixed, right? But we'll see tomorrow. Crypto market got a little boost. Yesterday, Bitcoin was above 28. Today is a little bit below, but you can see it's still up about 1.5%. ETH is hovering around 1900 plus 2.7%. And pretty much everything in crypto is up slightly. So that's good. So definitely one of the major things to look at this week. Also, something that relates with this debt ceiling crisis is this. So for whatever reason, there was some kind of electricity tax or AKA Bitcoin mining tax that was like inserted into this previous proposal, right? And then it's like one of those things. This is what politicians do, right? In order to move forward with some kind of proposal or agenda, there's like all these things that other politicians like squeeze in there, right? And they're like little things and they think they could just get it passed through because the overall thing that they're trying to approve is much bigger and they hope that it doesn't get noticed. But this is one of the things that's in there. Basically, there will be a 30% tax on Bitcoin mining because based on electricity usage. And supposedly, this was removed, okay? Warren Davidson said this was removed from this recent negotiation and it's no longer in there. So that is awesome for Bitcoin miners, even though there's a lot of states that are protecting Bitcoin mining. But still, this is like a federal tax thing. Now, the other thing, of course, is Hong Kong. That is about to open. Hong Kong trading. I've talked about that many times. I feel like that is a big deal. That's also coming up this week, right? I'm not going to go again into it, but that's on Thursday, June 1st. So come Wednesday night when Asia opens up, because they're like 12 or 13 hours ahead, we may see a huge sudden burst Wednesday. You know, some of you guys have seen the psychology of a market cycle, right? There's many stages to a market cycle. And Bitcoin's no different. 4-year cycle, but throughout the 4-year cycle, there's a lot of stages like hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria, right at the top, then complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation, anger, depression, and disbelief. And this person argues that we're in a disbelief stage because we're coming up from depression stage, which is our low at 15,000. And I agree. And there's still a lot of people that do not believe that we are rising up. They still think this is a bull trap or something, or we're going to go down and go form a new low at 12,000 or 10,000. There are still some really clinging on this notion that we are not recovering when all data shows that we are, right? That's why it's labeled disbelief. But you know what comes after disbelief? Hope, because that's the next stage. That's when Bitcoin starts really rising up. Then, as we approach the halving event and beyond, that's when we really see the next stages of bull runs, right? Like the optimism, belief, and thrill and euphoria, right? And euphoria may end up at 200, 250, 300, 500,000 for Bitcoin. Whales, they definitely been stocking up. So since May 4th till now, so basically within a month, there is 30 new addresses with over 1,000 Bitcoins. 1,000 Bitcoins. You do the math. That's a lot. So these are definitely whales. Whales that are accumulating, right? And the shrimps, which hold less than 1 Bitcoin, is also accumulating, right? So basically, bottom line is a lot of people are accumulating, getting ready for the next stages, right, of the market cycle. And as Bitcoin approaches the halving event next year and all these other current events that's happening, well, those are all very bullish. However, what about this 5,000% pump? Well, TechDev posted this. Pretty eye-opening. The 20 weekly EMA and the 200 weekly EMA. So one is represented by the green, one is represented by the red, right? Now, if you notice, the last time we had a crossover was back in 2016 when Bitcoin dropped all the way down to like $140. It recovered a little bit back to 300-ish. Then the halving event occurred, and then it went on a tremendous run all the way to $20,000. Here's the interesting thing. Even when Bitcoin fell from 20,000 all the way down to 3,000 back in 2018, that green line, the 200 weekly EMA, still did not cross below the 200 weekly EMA, nor did it happen in 2020 when Bitcoin fell down to 3,800. So technically, if you're looking at this, the last crossover we had was back in 2016. Even the bottom of 2019, we did not see that, or 2018, right? But guess what happened? We did cross below, and now we have just crossed above in 2023. So last time, from the bottom of 2016 to 2020, Bitcoin went on a 5,000% run. And I'm not even counting it from 300 to 69,000. I'm just counting it to 20,000. Okay, so imagine if we're about to start a new run. So this pattern has not happened since 2016, 7 years ago. If we're about to start a new run, are we going to see a 5,000% gain after this? I certainly like to think so. Probably not going to happen in 2025, but if this continues forward, just keep on going and have an extended run, yes, that's definitely possible.